Hey Stampin' Friends, this is Michelle with Stampin' Butterfly. Thanks for joining me tonight. I had a fun card I wanted to share with you. We made this card this week in my in-person card class, and it's a great way to use some of the new two-tone cardstock and then also a different use for your bee builder punch. So I thought that would be a little bit fun techniques to share with you, and this is the card we'll be making. I'll also show you how to do some tearing techniques with our new scrapbooking paper. So I'm excited to get started. Drop me a hello if you are joining me and let me know where you're from. And then also let me know if you have questions along the way, and I'll try to check back and see how things are going. All right, so let's flip down real quick. So this paper, the two-tone cardstock, is something new that's come out in our scrapbooking brochure. So the cardstock I'm using is pecan pie. So when you look through our new online store, you'll see that there's a scrapbooking section. I happen to print out the PDF, so it is a little easier to navigate. I do like my paper. So the pack that I'm using is the coordinating set for the reindeer memories two-tone, and we're using the pecan pie piece right here, and I'll show you real quick. So what the two-tone cardstock is, it is our normal Stampin' Up! Color with another shade. So for instance, you'll see this side is pecan pie, and then there's a darker shade. Same thing with like our real red. You've got the real red and then another shade on there. So this pack coordinates with the reindeer days paper, so all the colors coordinate. So we've got some, let me pull them out for you guys so you can see them better. So we have the granny apple green. Flip it over so you guys can see better. Hopefully the lighting is okay for that. And then there's some garden green. So you've got both tones for that one. And then I think we have early espresso. So we have that. And then the darker shade. That one's a little harder to tell on my camera. But they are different. So it's really nice to be able to have that sheet of paper and get some different techniques out of it. So I've pre-cut some of my pieces, and we'll kind of go through those. So let's grab out our little card packet and we'll get started. So the twine that I'm using for this card is from the Nests of Winter. I think it might be back ordered right now. It's a 3-pack. So this is copper clay, and so is our card base is copper clay as well. And we've got, normally I'm usually same tone all the way, but actually I have a pop of blue, which is kind of fun. So I have some boho blue in here. And then this is our pecan pie cardstock, and then I just liked the vanilla with it. So we have some vanilla. So I'll go through the different pieces of that. These two, let me grab the dies out. I've already saved us a little time. So they're from the Countryside Corners dies. And there's a bunch of different layering ones. So I just die cut 2 that were coordinating dies. Went ahead and did that. And then we have our insert. So our card base is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. This is our inside insert, and we went, usually I do the 1/4 inch, so I came down a little bit smaller. So this is 3 3/4 by 5. Normally I like to do a 5 1/4 by 4. So I wanted a little bit extra border on this guy. So that'll be our inside piece. And then we're gonna do a little punching with some pumpkin pie and a little embossing on that. We'll do some paper tearing, a little stamping, so, and a little sponge daubering. So lots of little things going on this card. So where do we wanna start? Let's start with our die cut machine so we can use that and then get it out of the way. So let me grab that real quick, move these pieces out of the way. Since I'm using our new Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder, it is huge, so it does not fit through the mini machine, so we're going to use the big machine. And I'm going to fit that up here. And since it's a 3D one, we're going to use plate 1 and plate 4 to run through. So you can decide what direction you want your plaid to go. You can put it in this way, you can put it in at a diagonal, horizontal. So I'm just going to kind of line it up and send it through. And what's nice about the big ones is if you're doing it for a class, you could technically fit a couple of them in here at the same time and run them through. Save a little elbow work. So we're just going to run it through the machine real quick. Alrighty. Let's see what that looks like. And look how fun that is. And you can use either side. So you can use embossed or debossed. Just whichever one looks good to you. Alright, so those are going to layer together. Now let's go ahead and we've got our pumpkin pieces and some of those guys. I think we'll go ahead and tear the paper because then we can glue all and we'll have inky fingers. So I've decided on my card, let's go back and look at the sample. I like the light color up because I want to stamp my sentiment on there. And by the way, this sentiment is Sending Autumn Wishes Your Way. It's from the paper Pumpkin from September. Yeah, my October one just came. So that's the fall one. So when you're tearing, you want to have the color face up that you want on the front of your card. So if you want to tear and have a white border, you want to make sure you do it this direction. And I probably, now that I'm thinking about it, should have probably made that wider because I'm going to flip it over and glue it. So this might be a tight squeeze, but we'll see. So I just am kind of going back and forth depending on how much of a zigzag you want. Then I'm just flipping over the piece and I'm going to tuck it underneath and glue it. So like I said, leaving a little bit bigger space would probably be better, but that's okay. See, on this one I went a little bit further down. All right, so we're going to tuck that aside because we're going to glue that later. We're going to go ahead and use our bee builder punch. We used this last year for Valentine's Day and he was super cute and he has a coordinating stamp set. So we're going to go ahead and punch the bee body out 3 times to make our pumpkin. And if you cut it skinny enough, you can just run it through here and not have crazy pieces flying out. However, I haven't done that, so we'll just toss our extra pieces over there. And let's see. That guy there. That guy there. Alrighty. Got a few extra hearts. We've got our 3 pumpkins. And then you could color the stem with a marker, but I went ahead and I just took my cardstock with Early Espresso with the flat tip and just punched a little piece. So let me see. Let me move that out of the way. And then lined it up across here so that way I have enough space to be able to put that over there. Now hopefully that is the correct piece because I did see another piece go flying. So I'm going to cut an extra one just in case. And I'm going to flip it down. There we go. Okay, I have 2 in case it disappears. So we're going to move those over there because they are tiny and I might actually end up losing them. Might need this guy, so we're going to need the Take Your Pick tool. We've got our bone folder. And now we're going to grab our sponge dauber, some scratch paper, and we need some scissors. So let's get those guys out. And then our ink pad. So I have some copper clay, which is what we're going to use for the sentiment. And then we're going to use pumpkin pie to spruce up our pumpkin. So we want one to be in the center with the full stem. And then the other ones, we're just going to kind of round out and cut off the stem and make it more rounded. So you're just going to do a little trimming. Check and see if anybody has posted any questions. So let me refresh that page. And then trim it best you can. No one's looking. All right. So now we have our pieces. And we're going to sponge dauber the edges. So we want to give them a little shadowing. I don't know if you can tell in my original card. Let's see. See how there's some darker pieces on the outside. So we're going to go ahead and open our ink pad and grab our sponge dauber. We're going to ink it up. And then we're going to just go around the edges. Try to make it dark or as light as you prefer. There's no right or wrong way to go. And then if you don't like it, you can always flip it over and do the other side. So you can pick it up is one way to do it. Some people like to pick it up and sponge dauber it. And my cardstock looks like it had a little bit of a score in there. I was using some scraps, so hopefully it's not too noticeable. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and do this one. Little ink it up, go around the edges, ink it up. I always like to stamp on the scratch paper first so I don't get a really big blob the first try. And then across the top. All right, so can you guys see that? You can see the orange edges around there. You can go back and fill them in however you like. All right, did I bring some dimensionals? Yes, I did. Okay, good. So we're gonna go ahead and glue our pumpkin together. So you can lay it out first. So what you're gonna wanna do is put them, you can put the pumpkin as wide or as skinny as you like. So I like it kind of overlapping, like a medium-ish pumpkin. And we're just gonna put a little bit of liquid glue. So we'll do one side first. And then we'll put some glue on that side. And then because it's liquid, we can slide it around. So you can decide how big or small you want your pumpkin to be. And then you can also line up the bottom straight across, or you can kind of give it a little curve. So we're going to do a little curve there. And then we're going to put just a dab of glue. You could also use a glue dot. And then we're going to take your pick tool on the little sticky end and pick up our little stem. Now there's slight curve to it, so you want to just take a look and make sure you've got it facing the right direction. And then I'm going to just set it on there. Push it down. Let it sit for a second. Like I said, you could also use a marker. Didn't have one handy, so that's what I decided to go with, punching out the cardstock. All right, so our little pumpkin is done. So now we can start doing a little stamping. So we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment here with the copper clay. And you can always ink it up and test it on your scratch paper. Make sure you're not upside down. And then we're going to stamp it near the bottom. That looks cute. I like to stamp it off sometimes before I clean it on my chamois. And then some scratch paper over there. All right, so now we're going to do some assembling. So we have some gluing to do. So we're going to get our pieces of our card, and I'm going to use my silicone mat because I think I might make a little bit of mess on this one. So this, once your glue dries, you can rub it off. And like here's some old glue from last time. It just rolls up and rubs off. When you do it on your paper, then you accidentally stick your card on there and you have a sticky mess. So I try to use that whenever I can. All right, so here is our cardstock. I'll have to be very careful. I'm going to add just a tiny, whoa, that's thick, tiny layer of glue. And then we're going to go ahead and line this piece up over the top of it. So you kind of want to keep your sides flush like that. And if it oozes out, you just use your little rubber eraser, take off the glue once it's dry. You can't do it while it's wet though. All right, so we're going to move that aside because that's the stickiest of things. And we're going to assemble the rest of our card. So we're going to take our card base, put a little glue on the inside panel. We'll set that in there. The cardstock's a little dark, so you kind of need an inside piece to write on. Now, if I had a pumpkin stamp handy, I might do something else in the corner, or that stamp set. Where is it? My paper pumpkin one. Came with some other things. Has "With Thanks, Thinking of You." There's a couple leaves and sprigs. So I could technically do one of those, but I think we'll just leave the inside empty for now. And then we'll go ahead and do the top. So we're going to glue these two pieces together. You can do either side up. So like I said, embossed or debossed. Go ahead and put those together. And when you're gluing an embossed piece, you want to be a little generous with your glue because it's up and down so many little pieces. You want to make sure it sticks pretty well. Like I could have gone a little heavier probably on that. And we're going to put our pumpkin there. We need some dimensionals. Let's go ahead, flip it over, add a couple dimensionals. So it comes together pretty quick, but I just love the two-tone cardstock with the white core. So when you tear it, you get that white seam. All right, so thinking that's about where I'm going to put it. Then this is going to get glued over the top like that. So, you know, you can kind of decide on spacing. If you want to push this down a little further, you could do that. I think I'm going to do that. All right, so I like mine closer to the bottom. So you're going to want to glue this one on first because it's going underneath. And you could use whichever adhesive you like to use. I'm usually a liquid glue girl, so that is usually what you'll see. And then we're going to go ahead and get some glue on this one. And we're going to glue that over the top. Try to make sure. Now if you stand it up like that, you can slide it to the bottom to try to make sure you're flush on the bottom of your card so it's not wonky. And then you just want to make sure your two sides are set pretty good if you need to slide it to the right or left a little bit. All right, that came together pretty quick. And it gives you so much dimension having that. Okay, so next we're going to take our twine and we're going to wrap it around and try to tie a bow. All right, let's see how this goes. So I want it kind of on this. I'm going to try it this way. There's also a way you could put a glue dot under your knot to try to keep your stuff tighter. But I think it stayed pretty well actually. And then you can pull on your ends to decide how big of a bow you want. You could do them big and loopy or a little bit smaller. Kind of like them a little smaller. And then you just trim off the tails, whichever ones you don't want. If you don't want it to slide around, you can grab a glue dot. You can either use your roll ones, or if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you probably have a bunch of these little guys floating around. So if you're worried that your string is going to slide off or your bow, you want to keep it in a particular position, you could put a tiny glue dot under the knot to keep it in place. So that is our fun autumn card for fall, sending autumn wishes your way. And it's just some fun techniques to play with your sponge dauber that we used here. We embossed that panel. And then we've just got some pops of color with your boho blue. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that inspiration. I also have another technique I wanted to show you guys. Maybe I'll go ahead and do that while we're here. So I have this other card. Let me grab it. See if you guys want to do this one too. And it shows you how to use our adhesive and so we have adhesive sheets and our foam backings. So this is also a fun technique to do. And we've got some embossing or die cutting. So we have some die cutting in there to do. All right, so let's go ahead and switch gears. We'll go ahead and move all this out of the way. And grab out. So what you're going to need is a card base, a couple strips of paper, and this is from the Full of Life suite. So it's your standard card base. And all we're going to do is glue these on here with our side panels like that and that. And then we're going to do a little bit of sticky stuff over here. So let me show you how to do the sticky stuff. All right, so Where's my dimming? Okay, here we go. So the dies we're going to use are Wanted to Say. And this one has here's some samples I cut out. So there's a Celebrate. I think I need to move this to a magnetic sheet. You're Too Kind, Happy Birthday, and then there's a Feel Better Soon, which I did not cut that one. Or actually I did, and I think it's on a card. All right, so we need the top layer and the bottom layer. And what is really nice about this one is that the eye is connected to the base. So you're not hunting down that teeny little dot. So, woohoo. All right, so we're gonna need some foam adhesive. And these are some things that you've probably seen in the catalog and not really used or didn't know how to use. So you get a huge pack of those. And then we're going to use the adhesive sheet. So let's double check the card. So we're going to use the adhesive sheets on the white piece where we do the birthday. And we're going to put the foam behind the black. So you could take a bunch of dimensionals, right, and pop it under there. But if you look, let's pull it out of this actually. If you pull it out of here, you can see that it gives you like a solid look with it underneath there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and trim this foam to be the right size. Let me get my not good scissors, because you don't want to use your really good scissors to trim sticky things. Okay. So those are extra scraps you can use later. And then we're going to peel off one side and stick our cardstock on it. There we go. And then we're going to get some adhesive sheets. So we have these in the catalog as well. And we're going to measure them and trim them. And again, they're sticky, so don't use the good scissors. And we're going to need the die cutting machine back. And I didn't put it on yet. Ha! I'm trying to stick it on there. Okay, so we need to peel one side. And these are a little bit tricky to peel, so let's see if they want to cooperate today for me or not. And I'm sure there's a better way to get them started when you're on the edge. So if not, we'll be switching over to liquid glue. Ready? And you want to try not to leave too much sticking out because it's really sticky and it'll stick to your plates and things. All right, so I think we've got everything mounted we need. Let's go ahead and get the die cut machine again. Oh, my plates. Ah. All right, we need the bottom one too. All right, so we need plate 1, 2, and 3. All right, so we need the white piece to come through. Now you want to put the white cardstock side up, sticky on the bottom. And then the black background, we're going to pop onto there. We're going to try to run them at the same time. They're a different thickness, so I think it'll still work. All right, that gave it a good shake. So let's see. This one looks like it came out pretty good. I think it cut all the way through. Sometimes you might have to give it a second run because you're cutting through extra layers. So just keep that in mind. I think we are good to go though. I'm gonna go ahead and move some stuff away. Where did I put my scratch paper? Let's grab that just in case I get sticky stuff. All right, so we're gonna peel this guy off of here. So we're just peeling back the layer. So see how nice and thick that is? All right. Move that there. And then we're going to grab the happy birthday. And you could also color this. Since it's white cardstock, you could use your blends or markers and color the letters different colors. That's kind of fun too. So I need my tool. All right, so you're going to poke out the pieces in the middle and the backing away from those for happy. And if you bought the new autumn set, you could do this as well. So if we make another autumn card later, doesn't look like this one cut through the backing, so we'll see how that goes. I think we'll still be okay because it's going to peel off with it. So if you ordered that new autumn one with all the different words like pumpkin pie and things like that, you could use the sticky stuff for that. All right, so it flipped over. I want to get that guy off. Okay, there we go. And then all you're going to do is you're going to flip it over and line it up within your background. Look how awesome that is. I'm going to have to use this with the pumpkin spice because those letters are even skinnier and they're a little bit trickier with the glue, with the liquid glue. All right, so we're almost done. Now we're on birthday. Pop out the letters, the little pieces we don't need. And then I'll show you in a second. Push against the ground on that. There's always one guy, it looks like, that doesn't want to come out. We could peel it off the front, and that's okay too, because now we know the sticky paper isn't going to stick down. All right, so see how the eye is attached? Well, maybe you can't tell that. I'll see when I get it down there. Alrighty. Let's see. I have sticky stuff everywhere. All right, so we're going to start with the bee. Again, we're going to try to fit it little by little within its areas. And then you'll just press down. And now that I have that on there, see how the eye is attached? Whew, that's amazing. Usually I lose that little piece of paper and I use a rhinestone and call it good. So saves you, I mean, you could still put a rhinestone on there. That's totally cool. All right, so let's do a quick assembly of the card, right? There's not much left to it. We're just going to try to equally space our paper best we can. Easier said than done usually. Things go crooked. All right, so let's get some liquid glue. Some people start from the middle, some people start from the outsides. I don't know, I don't consistently do it one way or the other. So you want to gently put it down in case you want to wiggle it. We could try the outside. Let's try that this time and see if it gets us equally spaced better. All right. And then this guy. And you could also try to use your grid paper to help you line things up too, right? So you could try to use those guys. I feel like that end one is a little high, but we'll see. Okay, those seem pretty good. And I think they're sticking. All right, we're sold. It is done whether I'm done or not. It is attached. Okay, so now all we have to do is peel the sticky back off of the foam tape. So how super cool is that? I'm gonna have to make a fall card with those. And then we can center it again like we did. You could put it at the bottom. I'm pretty much symmetrical, so we're gonna just put it in the middle. And last time, oh, here's our original card. I had some blingy gems. This time I think we're gonna try these sequins, iridescent adhesive back discs. And these are just so much fun. So let's see what colors look good on there. They all match, really. I could put them anywhere. I could put them on the pink like I did before, or I could put them on the dots. Let's see. I think we'll just take the hot pink ones. And add some zhuzh. Now again, you want to do them in groups of 3. You want to use odd numbers. You do 3 or 5. And you we've got some fun bling bling on there. All right, awesome. We made a little bit of a crafty mess, but that's okay. And it gives you a quick and easy card with lots of dimension. So if you, I don't know if you really could tell, you could see the whole foam under there, but it's really nice. Gives you that great thickness on your card. So that was the second card. Let me grab the original cards we did. I was going to do them at 2 separate times, but then I thought, well, I had the stuff handy, and you can use the same technique with the other fall dies we have. So there we go. Totally unrelated cards. We have a happy birthday and a fall. You could do this as a birthday card too, actually. You don't need to make it as autumn wishes. You could put happy birthday on there for a fall birthday. And I also debated on putting maybe a twine up there instead. So that is it for our cards. I hope you guys enjoyed that and enjoyed the crafty inspiration. Let me double check and make sure there aren't any questions out there. All right, I think we're good. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I hope you have a wonderful night and enjoyed those techniques. So thanks for joining me, and if you enjoyed that, please feel free to subscribe to my channel or follow me on Facebook, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night.